coast and the boardwalks, you know, where a castered vehicle would go down to the end of a loop and then just whip around. You're going to be going right and left and around like a good old-fashioned square dance. And in fact, that's what Mater's having. He's hosting a square dance called the Junkyard Jamboree.
There's 10 other carriages being pulled next to you, so you're passing them and you're all looping each other. So it's going to be very kinetic and very fun.
Luigi's Flying Tires is going to be an amazing experience. That attraction was actually inspired by the Flying Saucers attraction that ran in Tomorrowland at Disneyland.
The old Flying Saucers that were in the 60s were a big, were a big thrill for my brother and I. It's come around full circle, and hopefully my family will have those fond memories also.
When we started out deciding that we wanted to build a flying ride, quickly we realized that more air is more fun. It's like a mini hovercraft, and the idea that you get to control it yourself, I think, is very fun. You go chasing after one vehicle, or you race somebody from one side of the floor to the other.
Radiator Springs Racers is going to be, I think, one of the greatest attractions that Disney has ever designed and built. A great attraction takes you somewhere, it takes you to another place, and that's what Radiator Springs Racers does. You get to go on the road trip that Lightning and Sally got to go on, the little drive that they took to the country, through Ornament Valley, and see the waterfall. You get to meet a lot of your favorite characters from the movie, but this is not about them, this is about you. This is your experience in their world, in that parallel universe of Cars.
You go into the ride, riding the character right out of the Cars movies. You're going to hear the cars, you're going to hear people enjoying, screaming and having fun on the ride. It really brings you in.
Creating Radiator Springs Racers is the dream job for a car guy. My father was big into cars, was always doing his own maintenance on cars. I can remember when I was 6 or 7 years old, sitting out on the curb with my dad doing a brake job on the car, and him teaching me how it all goes together and inspiring me to have the same love of cars. It's easy to just build a car, but to build a car that is a character and has a soul and a personality added a whole other level to the build process. You take everything that you've learned along the way, all the little car projects you've done, and they all come together into a monumental attraction that honors the heritage of cars.
I was really fortunate to grow up in an era, 50s, mid-60s. Those were kind of my wonder years, to grow up in that era when the car became less of a means of just basic transportation. The car really kind of became part of our family. It had a name, Bonnie, and it had a personality, and it took us on road trips. In fact, I remember one night when we were on a road trip, everyone was asleep but me and my dad, driving of course, and I remember laying on the floor, in the back seat, with my legs over the hump of the car in the back, looking out the back window at the stars in the sky at night, and he was kind of singing a Hank Williams tune or something, and I remember seeing those stars, and it was a very vivid memory I have, and especially with like the outcropping of rock coming out in the canyons and valleys of Utah. It was just, well, I'll never forget that sight. And a couple of weeks ago, when I first experienced the first ride-through, our test ride-through of Radiator Springs Racers, and I looked up and I saw stars were amazing. And it was then I realized this place is special.
My 3-year-old daughter has seen the Cars movie at least 100 times. She loves that film and she's excited about meeting the characters. When I tell her I have to go to work really early, she doesn't get upset anymore because she understands that in a few months she'll be able to see the characters in real life. I actually truly cannot wait for opening day and show her what I've done for her.
When you walk into Radiator Springs, that is the best that Disney can offer you. It's an extension or an expansion of what we've been doing all along. The magic in our parks is we take you to places you can't otherwise go. They are recreations of your favorite worlds, your favorite characters. They're just places where you want to be. I think that's why people want to come here so much, is that it's just something you can't experience anywhere else.
It was pretty amazing how many incredible artists we had in Walt Disney Imagineering. Because when you think about Cars Land, there's the ride engineering, there's the architecture, there's landscape design. Kind of go on and on. It's really incredible, and it was great that we were all focused on the storytelling to create the home of Lightning McQueen, of Mater, of Doc Hudson, of all the residents of Radiator Springs, and make it as authentic as we can. The character of the town, the character of the cars, and the whole world, it just is in everything, and I think it's going to be, I can't wait.
When we visited with people along Route 66, they were very proud of where they were and what they were doing. And as we walk through our town, you get that sense of, we love what we do.
When our guests step into this land and they see the spectacle and the panorama of the landscape, I want them to feel like this is the greatest road trip they've ever been on.